born and raised in North Dakota and came here less than 40 years ago, and have spent a lot of time on the history ever since. When I first arrived here, there was an elderly gentleman planning on doing a book on winter quarters and wondered if I'd be his rewrite man. As we started rewriting, we discovered that every source of information that he had gathered disagreed with every other source of information. So we were struggling with that when he and his good wife were called on a mission to British Honduras many, many years ago. And they left and never returned. He left all his notes here with me. And finally I came to the conclusion the only way to get to the bottom of all of these disagreements on what the history was here was to get to original documents or good secondary sources. And we've been doing that now for more than 35 years. The history of this area is a whole lot more than Mormon history. There is a very significant French history here. As a matter of fact, just south of Omaha is the city of Bellevue. Across the river to the east from Bellevue was a French village called, the residents called Pointe-au Poule, which translates into English as Prairie Chicken Point. The Mormons didn't like that name, so they called it Trading Point, and most Americans couldn't pronounce Pointe-au Poule, so they called it Traders Point. So that's a small part of the French heritage here, which goes back. The earliest documented visit of a Frenchman here was in 1714. Just to give you an idea that when the Mormons came here, they were not by any means the first people who were here. The French were here very actively. The Spanish were here even more in a more organized fashion. And of course, there was a tremendous amount of river traffic and fur trade. There was a time when this area was extremely active as a fur trade area. The first settlement, per se, came with the Mormons, and that's why we're spending most of our time on the history of the Mormons here. And their period here was from 1846 to 1857, and I'm sorry, 1846 through 1853, and that, in my estimation, was a watershed in the history of this area, because all of the previous activity here was Indian fur trade country with almost no changes in the land. When the Mormons came, they built a tremendous system of roads, bridges, and ferries, mills, and established tuition schools. They had city governments. They established more than 80 communities in southwest Iowa, and about 4 communities on this side of the river. And so what we're looking at here is a period of intense building and organizing. Governmental organizing on the Iowa side, simply city civic organization on this side of the river, since the Missouri River was the boundary of the United States at that time, and this is what Congress, I think in 1824, designated as Indian country. So you're in very historic country.